Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Gangplank did quite a bit of damage, but this was pretty much the Ian show. From the get-go, MVP able to take game one here over Griffin.
Really like their pick ban, they wielded it well. Griffin thought they could just go back to their challenger standard of, well, we'll just scale up, we'll get there. Not against MVP in this form, and their excellent Baron control in this game. Baron control was most likely to be one of the thorns in MVP's side in beating Griffin because they have been so hot and cold on that objective in particular, but no complaints at all on what they did in game number one. Great performance, and then if there was an MVP, it would go to Ian, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree. The Swain was just wonderful. The sidesteps on that glacial prison there in the mid lane was just masterful.
I mean, he rushed his dancing shoes. Merc treads first, and he put them to great use as Cassio watched on enviously with no boots of her own. Nice sidesteps, nice game, and now we move into game number two. From what I hear, no substitutions, but as you might expect, MVP have chosen the red side.
Yeah, so we'll be shifting back over to red side. Again, played all three games versus Ever8 on a red side. Lost in game one, then won the next two straight. Sent MVP or Ever8 down into that losers match. Now back over onto the red side. Griffin on blue. We'll see how this is going to shift the draft. Going for that Kai'Sa Morgana on blue side, going to be a bit tougher.
It's one of those things also where they got it, right? They got it on the red side, but what was the cost at putting it together? They gave the Swain over, which, again, most teams have been able to manage. The answer of going Cassio into it and attacking mid lane goes against Griffin's playstyle. It didn't work. Just straight up didn't work. And the cost elsewhere was they calmly gave 2v2 over with the Caitlyn going on the side of MVP. And the Gangplank into Gnar was also a counter pick. So in many ways, MVP won the draft, finished the game before team fights were online. And let's see if Griffin can be a bit more respectful, have a bit more power around the map, and maybe just a first pick Skarner into a more mid-game draft will allow that.
Well, the Vlad Swain here from MVP. We'll see if the Galio is going to be the third and final ban. Let's go ahead and shut down that mid lane for Rather.
And Griffin's in this awkward spot where they're like, if we don't first pick Kai'Sa, they'll probably take it. Where are we going to be at about the Kai'Sa? Are they going to want to run the Vayne into it or try to recreate the Caitlyn comp that we saw from MVP twice now in this tournament? Lots of what-ifs about the draft. We see a Trundle ban. The first pick Olaf is what Griffin are threatening. See what MVP want to decide with their final ban.
Trundle taken away. Olaf on the board. MVP, how much do you care about that pick versus Tarzan? Seems like quite a bit. So they will go ahead, ban that one away. So Kai'Sa, maybe the first pick here for Viper. Already flashing it and probably just going to be locked in.
They do take the Kai'Sa. We expect once again the Caitlyn to be rolling out from the side of MVP. The reason why we don't see Skarner or Sejuani picked up is that both of them are up. And they will begin with the Morgana instead. So the theory here is that you want to take the Morgana first. I completely agree with this. We saw this in the LCK final and recent series. If the enemy takes Kai'Sa, that's fine. You can just go Kate Morgana and be like, hello, got a lot of lane priority over here. Or you can, again, roll in the Kai'Sa later. So it does affect the draft options here from MVP. See where their priorities will be in their first round on red.
Debating on this one, letting the clock run down quite a bit. Seems like it's still going to be the Caitlyn.
They're saying, yeah, we're feeling pretty good about Caitlyn into Kai'Sa. Doesn't really matter about the Morgana. VP can take their choice of the junglers with Sejuani and also the Skarner up. You didn't need to first pick one as both of them have their uses and have different power spikes. This is an interesting one, though. We're wielding the Gangplank early, so the Gangplank priority goes up. Is Sword going to show us an attack through top side? As if you do this against other teams, even SKT, with their Cassiopeia top, you get punished.
Odd to see, especially with the Scion available. Could have just taken the Scion and then held all the way through the end, given the last pick over to the mid lane or top lane, just flexing that Scion back and forth. But GP will come through yet again.
It's like they will once again proceed forward with the Morgana and the Kai'Sa. I'm more interested to see what they do regarding the Gangplank, or maybe I imagine that will be a second round thing. A jungler is what we usually see in this first round.
I wonder if the Gangplank's a flex since the Galio is available. Could just run GP into the mid lane versus Galio, farm up.
I don't think you take Galio first round, though. I think you take a jungler, and so in the second round, Galio could just be banned. But I like the thinking you're taking there. Seen very little the Gangplank mid, but against the Galio was that one use case. The Zac going to be taken here means that MVP can just pick up Sejuani at this pick. They would take some support bans to make that happen, but it's almost 100% going to be taken.
It's Max anyway, so he's still got plenty. We've seen the Vel'Koz from him. We've seen the Zillion as well. He can pull out quite a many few things. Brand is another classic for him, so he's got a pretty deep champion pool when it comes down to that bottom lane, and seems like the flex isn't going to happen. They'll just go ahead and ban away that Galio.
It's really curious to see how Griffin responds, because MVP can just counterpick support at Pilot's pick and then counterpick the mid lane with the final pick. So what do they have to work through the gangplank? What can Sword show us to actually attack this? If you look at his previous champions, if you look at challengers, most played, we already mentioned the Gnar in game number 1, Sion, Cho, so of course these very similar champions that AD will play. He does also have games on Fiora, games on Jace. Jace would definitely be one try to punish the gangplank in lane. But is he going to be willing to go lane 1v1 in this match when largely it has been more about the team fight?
So Leah, final ban from MVP. As Griffin keep deliberating, figuring out what they want to take away. Do they want to go for another mid laner against Ian? Swain's already been taken down. It's going to be the Azir in the end.
Something like Zoe could be considered here for Ian. Showed us that very recently. Could still be a lot of tanks coming through from Griffin. It could just be a tank lineup, but this is something that's been wielded by a lot of players and by Ian. The mid lane Karma is probably going to be coming out here. Could be a support as well. Know that Max likes to go that way, and Morgana can be poked out by the Karma pretty frequently. So I like the flex pick here. MVP's drafting has been very good in this promotion tournament after game 1. Got away from them a little bit in their first series. Now Griffin's like, where are we at? I want to see the answer to the gangplank, because Orin is one way to go, but you give away the late game. The Camille's another way to go, and will be the choice by Source. It does attack, but often this is a farm lane for the gangplank. It has the ranged parlay to keep cashing in. Griffin knows they have to deal with a flex pick, so rather will probably have to be a little bit more safe in his mid lane choice, unless we're going to Crazy Town. See what the choice is here for mid lane for Griffin.
And both sides being very patient through the draft, keeping that clock running all the way down, buying themselves as much time as possible.
All right!
Oh, baby! You're talking about safety. It's time for the crazy draft. So much damage on the side of Griffin with so little tankiness. Talon, my God, it's going to be locked in.
That is a super risky pick, but they're saying, well, it can lane against most things. It can kill the Karma in lane. We are rolling the dice, game 2 of this best of 5 between Griffin and MVP.
No, put the Karma bot, please. I wanted to see something else happening in the mid lane. Give me the Zed versus Talon's not going to happen. It's going to be the Braum.
Jace, a common pick into the Talon as well. Lots of different ways you can go. Karma is still going to be largely, of course, ranged versus melee poking. There is still the outside chance the Olin is able to register. Probably when the mantra's down and the shield size is a bit lower. Very, very risky draft on the Talon. You could see someone probably said Talon 20 seconds earlier, and it took 20 seconds of argument to get locked in at the final second. They're going to be about pushing side lanes here. This is a skirmish comp from Griffin. It could be team fight, but when I see Talon, I'm not really thinking of the team fight. I'm looking at overwhelming the side lane. They're going to be so fast at being able to get between lanes with this draft. Zac from range, Talon over the wall, the killer instinct coming in as well. We could see a multi-pronged attack in a half second.
Oh man, it's been quite some time thinking about the back to Pawn's Talon in the mid lane. We had that champion running rampant on the Rift in most of our games were banned away. Now comes out here for Griffin, already down one game in this best of 5, and they go for the risky pick. No tankiness really whatsoever outside of the Zac. If they lose here, they have to reverse sweep.
And we can't be results orientated. It was basically a blind pick Talon, given the Karma could have been taken into Morgana lane very viably. Griffin rolling the dice. We are the benefactors. We get to see another saucy game 2.
We'll see if they roll the 7, if they're going to roll Snake Eyes. Griffin taking the risk. And again, this could put their backs against the wall. They have to play one more best of 5 versus Kongdu Monster to try to qualify into LCK Summer Split. They're taking the risk. They're going to gamble. Let's go ahead and see how this turns out for them as we jump into game number 2. MVP leading the series 1-0. MVP faithful. Feeling pretty good about game number 1.
Rather has decided that after a season of being a facilitator, he's going to be a damn carry today. By hook or by crook, locking in the Talon. Very hyped to see this one, as you mentioned. Pawn by far our resident Talon player in the LCK.
Yes.
If I think over to NA, my first thought at resident Talon player is Reaper, the coach of Cloud9.
Yeah.
But obviously other players have played it more recently.
He doesn't count.
Has gone predictably for the Electrocute, the Assassin Special on the side of Griffin. Was a blind pick, but ended up being against the Karma that had been flexed earlier. Hyped to see this one, and you have to think his roaming shoes are going to be on. Boots of mobility, popping over walls. That's usually what we expect when we get the Talon.
Well, for now, just going to get poked down. Try to get as much CS as he can. So he can stay competitive, get those items so that he can try to burst out the members of MVP. Caitlyn, Karma, and Gangplank all going to be pretty decent targets, at least until that Sterk's Gauge comes through.
When it comes to facilitators for the Killer Instinct, of course, we know that hard crowd control can proc it along with the W coming through from the Kai'Sa. We have the hook shot, that is 1. The Dark Binding and the ultimate from Morgana, that is 2. We also have everything that Zac is about, basically, when it comes to the procs there. But you hit a Dark Binding, and then suddenly Viper can fly over the wall on the Kai'Sa. Popping over the wall can be the Talon. We already know about the engage range of both the Camille and the Zac. The jump scares in this game, if you get a vision advantage as Griffin, are insane with how much map mobility they have.
And it's the same type of play style they would have liked to have had in game 1. Cassiopeia very immobile, like you said, the Talia, the Galio, so they can make those impactful plays into the side lanes. The Talon does fit that because you can just keep vaulting over the wall, using your parkour to traverse very quickly down to either the top or bottom side.
Very, very difficult to ward against the Talon as well because of his multiple different entrance points. Here is your mid lane Talon runes. Eyeball Collector there is a fun one. He's looking for Snowball.
He's going to get stunned up. Here comes the Elastic Slingshot, flashes to the side. The grab's going to connect. They pull him back
Beautiful.
in. And ADD goes down very early for first blood.
Shakes his hand a bit, realizes that was perfectly executed by the enemy team, and the timing also. We'll actually go for the fast push here. Tarzan's going to stay in lane. Decided to fast push. The teleport would have been prompted. Still going to see it. Let's see what the decision is here from Tarzan. He's sticking around because Sword didn't even have to use his flash.
ADD, gonna check the brush. All right, ward comes down. Perfectly played by ADD.
Don't know if it quite deserved that octave of Kilios, but I appreciate what you're putting out there. I'm just so excited about this Eyeball Collector that the Rather has. I haven't seen that in competitive play in Korea before, but looking for his own little snowball. Sejuani here, just in case it's a really long stay by Tarzan. We know that Beyond is going to find no opposition.
It's going to be maybe heading back. Nope, cancels out the TP. So,
it's a pretty big,
make up his mind.
It's a pretty big minion wave, so you're not really incentivized to go too crazy. You're also against a Sapphire Crystal Longsword, and you haven't shopped, so not actually smart for Sword to do anything here. Ends up being smart. We're watching Rather in the mid lane. Standard Rake Max. Again, we already saw the runes, but they are basically the Assassin rune page that always fits basically every champion. I like how it's pretty simple now. It doesn't matter if you're AP or AD. Usually pretty similar on those rune pages. I play a lot of Electrocute junglers, it turns out. I don't have to change my rune page that often.
I've got my 80s set.
You do?
My 80 characters
You
are all
had that
good to
before.
go. I got my page. They're ready to go. Pages, rather. Just one page. Doesn't matter who it is.
I know your page. It's Kleptomancy, and you're playing Ezreal.
Actually, I play more Tristana these days.
Sorry
because
about
Ezreal's banned.
That's true. Can be sometimes. Waiting to see when Rather gets his roaming shoes on. No shops yet in the mid lane.
Get locked down as Ian just tries to keep poking him lower and lower. As the CS lead opened up. Wants to maintain that as long as possible.
When it comes to MVP, because we talked about how Griffin want to roam around everywhere. They want to largely opt out of team fights, even though they have some backup team fight. They're more about the skirmishing and outnumbering with their engage range. MVP, it's all about getting Caitlyn to 2 items and rolling around with the Karma. They have a lot of ability to play the team fights out earlier than the sort of comps that Griffin have been known for in this tournament. And there's always the chance that ADD gets an item lead and can 1v1 against the Camille. Looking less likely after the first blood went down, but crucially Sword didn't actually pick up the kill credit, and he himself has actually still not shopped since the second shopping trip for ADD.
He's going to have a nice buy. ADD just coming back in. Sheen available. Sword likely going to have that Tiamat pretty soon.
Probably going to be the Tiamat first, I would imagine. Never 100% sure what even the skill order is going to be on a Camille, let alone the first item, but Tiamat and Trinity Force in some order is what we expect.
Rather going for a roam.
He is level 6.
Towards the top.
Even finding a jungler half health will be pretty happy.
He comes over the wall. He'll find Beyond. Now
Beyond is
spotted out.
Very smart of Beyond.
That's going to be the dive in underneath the turret. Elastic Slingshot coming through. ADD taking a bit of damage. Beyond trying to lock them in. Shadow Assault comes down and rather finds the kill. Now Beyond in a bad spot will get taken out. And Tarzan not even going to get his passive popped.
And what you should take away from that one, Achilleos, is think about the champions involved in the dive. You have the untargeted ability to dodge turret shots in the Camille and also the Zac Bloblet. So the chances of that being turned around to kills is very, very low. You'll see that Sword is the one that starts off the aggro, takes it, knows he's going to be pretty happy through this. And even though he falls low, he can ult to disengage the turret aggro. The Bloblets are there just in case. The chance of that being turned around with even a single kill were basically nil. Well executed by Griffin.
Already a 3-0 start. Things off quite nicely. Bouncing back for sure here against that Game 1 oppression that they suffered at the hands of MVP. It's 1,500 gold up at 7.5 minutes. Sword going to have a very considerable lead. And I mean, we're talking about the risk of the Talon, but going for the GP straight up was also a pretty big risk for the side of MVP.
It is and it isn't. I find it harder and harder to be critical of GP in both the Camille and Gnar matchups because so often laners have been able to, without jungle attention, get through it. Again, we should reward Tarzan getting the early gank, the level 4 gank, that started off this snowball and absolutely Gangplank can look like a silly pick. 1 kill, 2 kills in the first 10 minutes, unless that 30-minute farming phase happens. But I understood the thought there. MVP had the potential to play around a Caitlyn, load in with the Gangplank ultimate and play the map around top, but being attacked, actually getting successful ganks, is going to make him look a bit the fool, at least for this early game.
Well, Tarzan now pushing through onto the bottom side, just getting a ward down by the blue buff. Should be spotted out very swiftly though. Beyond, yeah, going to go ahead, get ready to clear that out. And even with the roam up towards the top side, rather, is going to be pretty competitive as far as the CS is concerned.
You at home can't really remember the Talon changes because, of course, he got some nice buffs when the nerf came into the Duskblade of Drakthar. It is a bit of increased base damage on the passive and then 0.2 AD ratios, 20%, well, actually 25% technically, more damage on the ultimate. Those are the small changes. Probably still going to be the Duskblade at some point, but it could also be Youmuu's first to continue with this roaming. The extra map pressure is really annoying for Pilot and Max. In the first game, they never had any worries bot side. They had triple control ward, push, 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 and no one's coming. Now it's Zac. Now it's a Talon roaming. Now things are trickier for Pilot. That's why you don't see any CS lead between the ADs.
Well, not going to be able to find anything in mid. Ian just playing too far back. Guessing at a distance, keep himself ahead. Deny any possible gank path there for Tarzan, so he'll just continue on through the jungle. He's been having a merry old time.
Yeah, 2 kills. Very early Cinderhulk. Very, very far ahead is the Zac at this point in the game. A couple of camps.
Free boots.
Never had to use passive in the turret dives. Can return to those. And this is what happens when Camille can actually just take every aggressive hook shot and not worry about being ganked. A lot of safety happening right now for Griffin. What a risky draft, but the early game play is vindicating compared to game 1, where it was another type of risky draft in the scaling. Play didn't vindicate at that time, and if this is what we have to look forward to in this series, we could be going late, and that's a pretty hype thing.
Very well could be. Another trade coming out into the top side. You can see Sword still on top of those. As ADD struggles, try to find some stability up in this top lane. Tarzan is going to be sweeping through, spots out the control ward and beyond.
Bot lane getting pushed in. The Rage Blade is complete. Things can be good. Is mid lane trying?
Yeah, jump into the mid lane. Ian going to dodge out on
so
that
hard.
grab. Nicely done.
Not going to be able to burst through a Karma. The Zac is going to find it very hard to hit the stretching strike onto a Karma. With the shield, she's going to be safe enough. But it flashes down for now. Oh boy, I didn't even notice. With the Unsealed Spellbook, it's Flash Barrier Karma. It is the ultimate, hey, maybe another lane is the one you want to gank.
Oh, man.
Now, if you're Zed, you look at this and you're like, well, I can't kill her. If you're the Talon, at least you can roam very easily between lanes. But actually attacking the mid lane, oh boy, it's looking hard.
Yeah, that burst isn't going to matter a whole lot unless you catch her AFK for about the first 3 seconds or so.
Every assassin mid is triggered in Twitch chat right now. And of course, there's a lot of them because everyone plays Riven or some sort of AD assassin mid. That's what I learned from Korean solo queue.
It's true.
Everyone except me.
It's my pocket pick. Why isn't it very good? Because I never get to play it.
Your team lets you down sometimes.
Yeah. All the time.
And Max here break into the queue on the side of the Talon. We're still waiting to see some more side lane plays.
I already told you about my Lux Jungle experience.
You did tell me about your Lux Jungle.
That was wonderful. I had some more colorful commentary that I can't repeat here, but
there's a lot of impressionable fans that listen. We should not talk about your Lux Jungle.
It's not good, we'll say that. Pilot trying to jump away, stretching strike, still going to grab him, pulls him back in, and here comes the Shadow Assault on the backside. Pilot's still alive, however, as they try to turn this one around. Ian just going to arrive to offer up some shielding. Beyond waiting in the brush. No one going to go down. Summoner spells used on all sides.
Let's turn on to Rather and kill him. Max using all the summoners, the ultimate. The Gangplank ultimate came in as well, but actually able to use the terrain to get a little mini hop and get away from the Gangplank ultimate radius. Beyond is still here. Let's see if they can bait away Black Shield. Then maybe Beyond can go in.
Finds the lockdown on the Lehens. Hasn't popped it yet. Instead, just trying to keep pushing forward here. Tarzan is up above them. Beyond still hovers nearby. Rather now joining in, looking to steal away the blue buff.
Off cooldown on the Shadow Assault again. Now at least Karma can't walk up. Be being largely respectful here. And you know, as we all know, if you wait long enough, the Talon will fall away. Ability to AD burst means less and less the game goes on. The exhaust is there. The shields will get bigger. They have to lose the minimum, but better teams than MVP have struggled to do that this season, and we'll see if the snowball can increase, because those turret dives were about 5 minutes ago now.
ADD, though, still getting punished up here. And Tiamat completed with the Sheen and the Ninja Tabi for sword. He is in such a strong spot. The barrel's just kind of tickling him at the moment.
He's probably in a better CS spot than he should be, because he did go Klepto and not Resolve against a fighter, and he's died twice, so to be less than 20 CS down, he's probably pretty happy, all things considered.
Yeah, it certainly could be worse. It could be oh so much better.
The big struggle here, well, we'll hold that point.
Jump into the mid lane, finds the stretching strike, pulls him back in, but Ian's got the tether ready to go. And he'll be fine, even without that flash.
Teleport was there this time, so there was no extra barrier to keep him alive.
You see Beyond just hovering now there towards the bottom side as Rather's going to arrive up top. Nice flash away by ADD, but is it going to be enough to actually keep himself alive? No, it's not.
You tried to make that exciting, but it's not going to be. The Talon's level 11. He was fine. They get the kill there. Bot side of the map. Tarzan slowly going to solo down the Mountain Drake. Will reward the flash. It was flashy, but unfortunately.
That was good,
yeah.
But then you just had nothing else to follow up.
So do you flash or do you not is always kind of the question.
Yeah.
There. No real great answer.
It's like a magician revealing his best trick up front, and then he did nothing but like pulling rabbits out of a hat for the next half hour. It's like, okay, like, well, this is boring now.
Well, there's pulling rabbits out of a hat, and there's actually taking down solo gold on the Camille while you get a Drake bot lane, which is everything. We saw a first start win rate there of 100%.
Yeah, I mean, MVP at this point, they want to pull a win out of somewhere else. But I don't know if they're going to be able to unless they can turn something around. Lock down off the dark binding there onto Max. I'll push forward a little bit just to clear out the vision. Tarzan looking to jump in, but won't do so.
Everything working this time for Griffin. This is the Griffin that people tune in for. We did not see it in game number 1. Somehow, off the back of a blind pick talent. That wasn't in my notes, Achilles. I missed that one somehow in this particular game. Doing really, really well for them. Attacking top lane is such a different thing. 2 games, 2 gangplanks. It's a tale of 2 cities between the game 1 and game 2 gangplank, though. Well, that continues to grow a lead, and short of giving away an immediate injection of gold, if this stays a low gold game, less than 45,000, I think Griffin wins at every point. Now, if it somehow becomes 60,000, then certainly the Talon will fall away. But looking unlikely, as so far the snowball play from Griffin has been very good.
Yeah, being able to hold out that long is pretty impressive if they can pull it off here from the side of MVP. Otherwise, they need to be looking for other avenues of approach to get themselves back in. But at the moment, down nearly 4,000 gold at 16 minutes is not a good look.
Welcome back, Serrated Dirk stacking, which we're seeing coming through from Talon. Push up, item lead top with the Tiamat, not quite the Trinity Force completion. Rather on the roam means that, well, he even has the ability to check those wards and see there's going to be a free Rift Herald on the top side, and even bot lane going better than expected. They are winning everywhere. The gold lead is 4,000 at 16 minutes, even bigger. The game #1 gold lead. Add a Rift Herald and losing the minimum. Well, seems like the minimum by Griffin's calculations is everything on the map they can get access to.
High standards.
Yep.
Settle only for the best.
That's why it's so hard to work them out, Achilles, is that they were so obscenely dominant. More dominant than the CJ we built up to fail a couple of times last year. 2 game losses means they have a lot of 100% records. But not playing against teams of MVP's caliber or better makes it very hard to know what the best in Challenger really means. So far in this game, it's pretty impressive.
Ian again being very elusive, not that there was going to be much of a follow-up there.
Beyond sticking around to stop there being just an easy turret take. Viper will find it
good
very
spot
difficult.
Comes through. Let's see that he's there. Dark Binding connecting onto Max as they just try to finish off this turret. Man, what a role reversal. Kaisa knocking down the Caitlyn's turret.
Rather hasn't even had to use his Duskblade to spot, so knows that if there is anything on to Gangplank, they will get the kill. Backs away again. The safe parts of MVP's map are probably, I would say, the Wolf Camp. Not much more. It's again mid lane.
Mid lane probably not going to be very safe. Forces the flash there yet again away from the Karma. Bot turret going to go down. That's a second over to the side of Griffin, who right now are on perfect game pace. A bit early to call it, but you know, they're working their way there, and this charge is going to do quite a bit of damage to that turret.
Well, they know the flash is down on Karma, so she has to be very defensive with her positioning. Can't just waddle forward
And
for
one more hit would do it.
hit on the eye. Trying in the mid
Going to be
lane.
Glacial Prison. He's going to be invisible here, looking for him in the shadow. Assault, and he'll just go ahead and take a nice little hop over the wall right as that turret goes down.
He's
So
not even
3
fully
turrets
disengaging
now.
either.
Tarzan pushing forward, stretching strike connects onto one, drags Max back as he hops to the side. Glacial Fissure comes out as well. Able to disengage, but it's 3-0 as far as the turrets are concerned, and nearly a 6,000 gold lead now.
And everything is a skirmish. We mentioned that for Griffin, they want to fight 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. When you have a control ward everywhere, you will outnumber Achilles. You're always taking the most direct path. You're making a straight line translation when the MVP team is having to make a very overly safe rotation around the map. And they even got ability to jump over walls to make those straight line translations faster. So Griffin will just find themselves in number advantages with item advantages. And let me tell you, the math is pretty clear. An advantage plus an advantage is a super advantage, Achilles. They're super advantage everywhere.
Yeah. Youmuu's Ghostblade now for faster arrivals from Rather. And I would expect that Viper is going to have that Hurricane ready to go. And he gets to go back. Currently just taking the red buff and then should be going to the shop. Get some fancy new items.
Everything set up for Griffin. Does feel like we're already looking towards game #3, but the Talon does bring us back to life for a second and say, okay, still have to finish the game. For Griffin, who have talked a big game, again, people talking so boastfully about where Griffin can be. Game 1 would have been sobering. Game 2 is only just a foothold back into the series, and there is still work to be done.
So looking like no 3-0. They don't want to go down and have to try to reverse sweep. Griffin fighting back.
Welcome, by the way, to Nashor's Tooth onto the Kaisa. I've said it so many times it's never happened that people probably thought I was pulling their leg.
I thought it was going to be a Hurricane.
Do see it here, and he already has the evolution as W, so he does have the evolve with just the ability power coming through from Nashor's Tooth of the 80 and 20 on the Rage Blade. Means that he gets
contested.
50% CDR when he hits his W, the Void Seeker.
Planning yet again as Griffin just takes full control over this side of the jungle. Control ward's going to be fought over. Classic slingshot comes in, gets the grab here onto Ian, flashes in, gets the kidnap, drags him back over the wall, and he is a dead man. Glacial Prisoner, no, that it doesn't matter. Kaisa finds the kill. Viper taking that one away. 5-0 now. And I kind of teased it before, but perfect game territory. Continuing forward.
If this is a game you're playing in solo queue, as we see the engage again.
For the lockdown. Unbreakable blocking a lot of damage there, but Max is still likely going to fall. Viper finds another one. Extended double coming through. TP as well for good measure. Dark Binding point blank in onto Pilot. Rather scoops that one up. That could just be a Baron going over to Griffin. They have full run of the map.
They're just playing with their food, Achilles. If you're playing this game in solo queue, you start spamming the timer and saying it's after 20, we really should be surrendering. That is how far ahead they are. They can't walk anywhere because everyone's popping up because that's how the comp works. They have such big engage range.
Oh.
MVP trying to spare their blushes.
Can they stop it?
I don't think they care, honestly, about the perfect game. It doesn't matter
But
if you pick up a footnote.
Smithy, but I care.
Well, MVP also care, apparently.
The dream is likely dead. There it is. The smite comes through. MVP will be able to pick up a single Cloud Drake so far.
But we're literally talking about an accounting victory. That is the level of victory. It's, well, at least this will not be remembered in the list of perfect games.
It wasn't the worst thing.
It's not on Gamepedia in the list of perfect games in competitive history. We did it, team. Hooray.
Huzzah.
Somehow if the coach walks up to you after the game, that's not really going to reassure you. As again, we've all felt this feeling in solo queue where you can't see anything. You're pretty sure one of Talon Camille or another threat is in a brush, or even a Void Seeker will come out from the Kaisa to kill you. Nothing they can do whatsoever.
Yeah. That was just another kill that we just happened to miss as we were watching. Everything else transpire, what with the dragon. So Ian dead again. And, I mean, he's got some damage, but he just takes so much of it at the same time.
Just to explain the builds, some people will be new to Nashor's Tooth onto the Kaisa. If you finish Death's Dance at this point, the common 3-item purchase, you will see with this build
that you win the
exactly
game.
Have everything. You have all 3 abilities evolved, and you're ready to go forward and murder people. You have the Death's Dance. Also, the ability to keep alive in some sticky situations.
Oh.
Staying alive could be tricky for Rather.
He takes a lot of damage.
There's no vision, unfortunately, for the Gangplank to turn, but you do see that Gangplank's finally getting some things together. Already has the E evolve, the W evolve, and the Death's Dance will complete the Q evolve coming through.
Oh, well. That was a bit of a desperate play there, looking for the Glacial Prison. Comes up very short there for Beyond. And this just leaves Sword all on his lonesome here into the bottom side of the map. Takes down that tier 2 turret. Now, last one standing, going to be in mid. Still several members from Griffin postured up, ready to take that one down.
Unfortunately, the problem for MVP is, even if they fail this dive, you press all your buttons, the enemies die, you have that much damage already. You don't need to be too on point in your mechanics. Rather brings up the side lane and top, pushing through the mid lane. No banner of command, so not going to quite be the Bannon doing all the work, but I have a feeling they'll find damage to kill these structures.
Well, looking to add another blemish there. On to Beyond's record with the Sejuani. So very reliable, but just really wasn't much he could do in this game.
The moment that he was out part top side and the second kill came through, it's been expert snowball for the side of Griffin. Is going for more.
They're looking for 888. He's going to get knocked down to half HP, tries flashing away. Starrick's going to get popped. And just to stay alive. But he's still just struggling to clear out the waves. As Baron-empowered minions being pushed forward.
Well, the person who can't walk up when they start to pull away and go towards something like the next Baron. Spawns a bit later. Still 30 seconds.
Drag
Baron.
back in. They're looking for him yet again. Tries to trade back a little bit there on the
Viper!
button. That's going to be Viper jumping forward. Finds the first kill. Off the backside of that Killer Instinct. And now it's just going to be the inhibitor going down up top.
Backside's hurting when you're taking auto attacks from this particular Kaisa. So much damage already. If we're going to have 2 inhibitors before we can even fully explain it. 9-0 on the kill board. The perfect game is dead. This base, close to being dead as well.
Yeah, it's still an A+. Griffin now just rotating over to the bottom side, rejoining in with the Camille. The minions keep streaming through into the top side and the mid lane. The Hen's looking for the Dark Binding, not going to find it. They go ahead, they clean up the base. 3 inhibitors down, just the Nexus and the Nexus turrets standing. MVP. Oh boy, what a transition from game 1.
Huge, and it's with the same bot lane. That's the amusing thing, is how important was bot lane in this first 2 games? Answer was very, very unimportant. Rest of the work was done top side. The snowball from Rather has vindicated the priority on the Talon. Now that's a headache you have to think about. Even if you don't see it in the first round, you're wondering the second round if you're forced to ban away the Talon. And does really pose the question, Achilles, of why have they been so staunchly going into scaling and late game team fights for so long if this time they go for early priority and they can clearly play that as well?
I mean, they're just clapping fools here with 26 minutes on the clock. It's been absolutely wonderful from the side of Griffin.
And it wins them fans. You watch this game, whether you're a global fan or a Korean fan, you're like, maybe I will be a fan of this Griffin team who can style with the blind pick Talon in the first round.
Maybe he'll make pawn play Talon again. Maybe KT will make pawn play again.
That was the part I was going to get to. Doesn't really feel like a UCAL champion, but we still are learning about that prodigious talent. The bot lane, we're pushing up. It's 3 minion waves. It's the game over. Let's see them finish it.
Well, ADD gonna get jumped on. The kidnap comes through, and Gangplank says good night. Rather, finding another kill. Glacial Fissure doing nothing to stop them. Viper goes all the way into the backside with the Killer Instinct, and they just melt down. Pilot looking for more, just padding the KDAs here. But MVP, they're gonna be stuck inside the fountain. Beyond clearing out some wards, desperately trying to get his vision score up there. He'll get pulled back out. He'll go down. That is game 2, going the way of Griffin wholeheartedly. 12-0 in the end. The Cloud Drake, the only thing stopping it from being perfect.
It was the perfect game from Griffin, though. The Griffin hype train is back, leaving the station. They did it with style. They did it with panache. They took risks, but man, did they vindicate them. And that makes it a mouth-watering best of 5. I said that word a lot this particular tournament because we've had the threat of the Yasuos and the Vayne and all the cool stuff coming out. Talon was not on that list, Achilles, but now it is on the list of the MVP coaching staff. Very well executed by Griffin, and I'm ready to just skip past this short break and get to game number 3, because it seems like we got a viable champion list of about 130.
I'm sure MVP would not agree with you, because they need to put their heads together and figure out what the hell they're gonna do for game number 3. Tied up 1-1. Next game gives that series lead over to one of these teams, puts them 1 win away from qualifying or re-qualifying for LCK Summer Split here in 2018. MVP desperately want to get back in.
This is the winner's final. The winner goes through, the loser has to play again, but no one wants to sit there for 3 days prepping for Sunday. It's all about the victory today, and both these teams have tasted it. Who will get that all-important game number 3?
2 years since MVP qualified into the LCK alongside ESC Ever. They do not want to go back to Challengers. They've been here for quite some time. Maybe not the most successful team, but still a namestay in the LCK at this point. It'd be heartbreaking for them and the fans should they get knocked out, but Griffin have to be feeling pretty elated at the moment after that dominant victory. That has to shake MVP to their core. We'll see if they can bounce back when we come back from the break.